When Julian asked me if I can make some mince pie, that was the first time I ever heard of it. I was like, is this a savory thing? Because it was like mince. And I was like, what is it? And then I looked it up, but this is actually like a classic British dessert or like a Christmas pastry. But yes, it's this first time that I heard of it, and it's the first time I made it. But now I really enjoy it. I like it. It's very Christmassy. Hi, my name is Klara Lind, and I'm going to show you today how to make mince pie. And first of all, we're going to start with the filling, and then we're going to make the pastry. So let's get started. So first of all, we're going to start with the filling. So in a small saucepan, we're going to have some butter. So we're going to melt the butter. And when the butter is melted, we're going to have some brown sugar in it, and we're going to make like a thick caramel sauce. And then we're going to have some shredded carrots in it. And now we're going to put in the sugar. This is going to boil the sugar and the butter together and just make it like this thick caramel. I know that you also can use apples to the filling of the mince pie, but I'm going to use carrot instead because I prefer carrot. So now we have like a thick caramel in the saucepan, and we're going to add the carrot into it. The carrots are going to release a lot of liquid into the caramel sauce, so that's why we need to reduce it, because to get rid of that, so we get this thick sauce. When the carrot has reduced in size to super small pieces, like you can see here in the sauce, it's time for the dried fruit. And then you have the dried candied orange zest, the peel. And then you have two different kinds of raisins. You have the red one and the green ones, and some dried cranberries. And you just put it in the sauce and just let it boil. So you see this small pieces of carrot. They're super small now, so then they're done. And then you have the cranberries and the raisins, the green and the red raisins, and the dried candied orange peel. Now we're going to add the spices, and of course we're going to have some cinnamon for this Christmas taste and flavor. So we're going to add some cinnamon, and then we're going to add some nutmeg and some cloves. Also super Christmassy. I love to add some salt to this because everything is very like sweet and you need something to like break that. So I add some sea salt in it. And also we're going to add the zest of the orange. So we're going to be careful, you need to wash the peel. But we're going to have a lot of orange zest in this. And just to give the filling a little kick, you can add brandy or what you prefer, but I prefer some dark rum just to give it like a little kick and to enhance all the flavors. So we're gonna pour in some rum. So now when the filling is done, you just set it aside and then we can start with the pastry. I prefer to make the pastry in a food processor, but you don't have to, like you can make it with your hands and everything, but this is the quickest way. But of course you can use your hands in just like a bowl. But first of all, we're going to start with some flour to put in the processor. All the measurements are going to be in the recipe. So we're going to add the sugar and we're going to add some cold butter. We're going also to add some vanilla sugar. My secret is always to add an egg yolk to the pastry to make it like flaky, and it's going to be like in layers. It's very nice. So 1 egg yolk, and then it's done. Time to mix. So the pastry is done. And how do I know it's done? It's going to look like this. It's going to be easy. And this, you can also make this with your hands. But like the pastry is going to be like this, almost like wet sand. And we're going to put the pastry in a plastic bag, and then we're going to put it in the fridge for approximately like 20 minutes just to cool down. Now I have the cold pastry. It's been in the fridge for 20 minutes, so I just put it in on some flour, and then now we're going to start to roll it with a rolling pin. And now we're going to cut out some circles for the forms, and I use a glass. You can use whatever you have at home, but this is actually the size that I want, but you can pick and choose, but also be careful. But now we're going to make some circles. Now I put the pastry in a form, and then we're gonna do like this. We're gonna push the pastry down and just up to the sides, like that. Now the filling is in room temperature, and it's time to fill our cakes. It's sticky. It's supposed to be sticky. And we have some more pastry here. We're going to make the lids. So we're just gonna do the same. Just roll it out and just make circles. And also what's important to think about when you're making the mince pie, the lids, it's supposed to be smaller. So the lids is a smaller circle than the bottom. And now we're going to brush the mince pies with some egg, and then we're gonna sprinkle some sugar on it. And I also just want to say this is a perfect thing to do with your family when you have your family gathered. So some of you can make like the pastry, and some of you can make the filling, and maybe the kids can brush the egg and dust the sugar on it. And now it's time for them to go in the oven. And now I think it's time to take out the mince pie. They're super like golden, and the crust is just perfect, and with the sugar and everything. So it's time to take them out. To everybody at UP and your friends and families, I hope you enjoy making Klara's special UP mince pies. And I just want to say God Jul and a Merry Christmas.